Okay, everyone, I'm back, and finally, after a few hours of waiting, I'm ready to continue the bonus features. We're gonna do the Rogues Gallery next. So, let's get ready for that one. This is what it looks like. Villains scrolling across the screen. I don't get what that thing at the end there was on the right side. What that was and everything. And also, I don't know how this is going to go. I might split up into two separate parts. And I'm going to do this page for part 1. Then I'm going to do the other page for part 2. And also, in part 2, I will show that, which is the Sinister Six thing. So, we're going to start. So, we have the Hobgoblin, Dr. Octopus, Chameleon, Sandman, Electro, Green Goblin, and Mysterio. So we're going to start with the Hobgoblin. Alright. So it shows that... Oops, my bad. Real name, Roderick Kingsley. Occupation, convicted criminal, businessman, and fashion designer. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, 238, 1983. And let the music play for a bit. Alright, history. History of Hobgoblin. After a small-time crook stumbled upon one of the Green Goblin's old hideouts, a mysterious figure killed him and became fascinated with Norman Osborn and his alter ego. The murderer pored over Osborn's journals to learn his secrets and to avoid his mistakes. He then decided to take on the guise of the Hobgoblin and succeed where Osborn had failed. The Hobgoblin's identity has always been a game of smoke and mirrors. Lefty Donovan, Jason Masondale, and Ned Leeds all acted as Hobgoblin at one time or another. Even Flash Thompson was framed and arrested for being the notorious criminal. But Roderick Kingsley claims to be the man who ransacked Norman Osborn's hideout and has been the one pulling the strings all along. But is he telling the truth? Who knows? Weapons and power. Alright. The weapons for Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin has improved versions of the Green Goblin's entire arsenal, including the glider. His power. Hobgoblin also improved the strength enhancement formula, which makes him stronger than the Green Goblin ever was. Alright, so that's it there. Next we have Dr. Octopus. Alright, real name, Dr. Otto Octavius. Occupation, criminal mastermind, former atomic research consultant. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, 3, Issue 3, 1963. Now I should say Issue 238 for Hobgoblin as well. So, 1963. The music almost ended, but anyways. Alright. History of Doc Ock. Once a brilliant and respected nuclear physicist and inventor, Octavius designed and built a set of robotic arms to assist him in handling radioactive materials. A freak laboratory accident exposed him to intense radioactivity that grafted the mechanical arms to his body and transformed him from a timid researcher into an insane megalomaniac. Adopted the nom-de crime Dr. Octopus, he abandoned the field of atomic research and turned instead to a life of crime, seeking to amass wealth and power and exterminate his arch-nemesis, our wisecracking web-slinging hero, Spider-Man. Weapons and power. Weapons. Criminally insane scientific genius, Dr. Octopus is heavily armed with 4 bone-crushing steel tentacles. Power. Dr. Octopus can control his tentacles telepathically over vast distances. Next we have the Chameleon. Alright, real name, Dmitry Smerdyakov. Occupation, professional criminal. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Issue 1, 1963. Alright, let that music play. Alright, history of the chameleon. The chameleon has been on the U.S. intelligence community's radar after a shady and secretive past in Russia. He once tried to frame Spider-Man for the theft of classified schematics, but the web-slinger exposed Chameleon as the real culprit and cleared his name. Recently, Chameleon returned to America after an absence of many months. Since then, he has engaged in numerous unlawful endeavors. He was last spotted leaping to his death off the Brooklyn Bridge. Alright, the weapons and power of the chameleon. Weapons. To imitate individuals, the chameleon relies on a belt buckle containing a miniature computer that can store an infinite number of profiles. Power. The chameleon can assume the features of virtually any human being. Wow. He must be pretty clever then, of a villain. So that's pretty cool for him. Next is Sandman. Man, coughing problems again. Sandman. Real name William Baker, aka Flint Marko. Occupation professional criminal, former adventurer. First appearance Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Issue 4, 1963. History of Sandman. Hang on. Raised in a tough NYC neighborhood, William Baker became a successful denizen of the New York City underworld and adopted the name Flint Marko. Convicted for a series of crimes, he spent many years in and out of prison. In a freak accident, Marko was exposed to a massive dose of radiation which gave him the ability to transform his body into an animated sand-like substance. With this new ability, the Sandman embarked on a criminal career that brought him into constant conflict with Spider-Man. Weapons and power. He has no weapons, so power. Sandman has the ability to transform his body into a malleable sand-like substance that can be hardened, dispersed, or shaped according to his will. He can increase his size and mass to an unknown extent by incorporating nearby sand into his form. Alright, Electro. Alright, Electro. Real name Maxwell Dillon. Occupation professional criminal. First appearance Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Issue 8, 1964. Yeah, it shows that there too on some of them, that little spider thing there. Technically, if you just hit that thing, it just shows like a black screen with the character there, but a different background music playing than what's shown here. It just shows that. It does it on a few of the characters, but not on all of them. Alright. History of Electro. Maxwell Dillon was struck by lightning while in contact with power lines, and the magnetic field generated by the live high-tension wires induced a body-wide mutagenic change to his nervous system. Dillon found himself transformed into a living electrical capacitor. Adopting the gaudy garb of a supervillain, Dillon sought to use his newfound power for personal gain. Electro's first and most frequent nemesis has been our own wisecracking web-slinging superhero. Weapons and power. Alright, no weapons. Power. Maxwell Dillon possesses the ability to generate and store electrostatic energy, in addition to his abilities to override electrical devices and use mental manipulation. Electro's powers can disrupt Spider-Man's ability to clean the walls. Alright, then we have Green Goblin. Alright, Green Goblin. Real name Norman Osborn II. Occupation professional criminal, former owner and president of Osborn Industries. First appearance Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Issue 14, 1963. Alright, history of the Green Goblin. That little spider thing didn't appear. We have another page down there too, it says. So there's more on him. Businessman Norman Osborn. I'm sorry for the coughing. I don't know what's happening. Was obsessed with wealth and power above all else. Even his son Harry. While experimenting with a strength and intelligence enhancement formula, he fell victim to an explosion. Although the formula was a success, Osborn paid the price by losing his sanity. After designing and building himself an arsenal, Osborn as the Goblin set out to take over the underworld. However, after repeatedly being beaten by Spider-Man and with his madness ever growing, Osborn's obsession became the complete and utter destruction of Spider-Man, Stacy, and then apparently killed himself. Thinking his father dead, Harry took up the mantle of the Goblin and went after Spider-Man to avenge his father's death. After Harry was killed in an explosion, Norman resurfaced to continue the torture Peter. Others, such as Harry's psychiatrist Bart Hamilton and Phil Urich, have assumed the Goblin's name for brief stints, but the legacy of the Green Goblin is very entrenched in the Osborn family. Weapons and power. Weapons. The Green Goblin has a wide variety of weapons. There have been pumpkin grenades, ghost smoke bombs, razor-edged bat boomerangs, and electrically charged gloves. One of his most dangerous weapons, however, is his bat-shaped jet glider. Power. The Green Goblin has superhuman strength and intellect, but he is also insane. Yep. As if we already knew that. Alright. Mysterio. Last one on this page. Nope, he doesn't have the thing. Oops. Anyways. Real name, Quentin Beck. Occupation, former special effects designer and stuntman, professional criminal. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Issue 13, 1964. Our history. Quentin Beck was an accomplished master of illusion, whose obsession with fame set in motion efforts to kill Spider-Man. Beck spent months observing Spider-Man, filming him in action and collecting fallen pieces of Spidey's webbing. He constructed an outfit capable of mimicking the web-slinger's amazing abilities and originated the identity of Mysterio. Beck's plan was to discredit Spider-Man by committing crimes in his place, but he was defeated by the web-slinger and sentenced to prison. Weapons and power. Weapons. A master magician and hypnotist, Mysterio constructed tubes that feed nozzles in his gloves and boots, which emit thick vision-obscuring gas to shroud his entrances. And exits. Power. Mysterio's helmet contains holographic projectors and one-way plexiglass, which prevents him from being seen. Oh, so that's why they can't see him from the outside. And everything. Alright. So actually, I'm gonna go back to the others first, see if I missed any of the little blue spider things besides the one on Electro. Alright, nope, not on him. Not on him. On him. It is on him. Alright. Alright, that's it with part 1 of the Rogues Gallery. I'll have part 2 ready.